the COP26 negotiations in Glasgow brought together leaders, businesses, civil society, and organizations from all over the world. Now the dust has settled, so we wanted to bring with us today our President and CEO, Åsa Bergman, Chief Sustainability Officer, Andreas Gyllenhammar, to discuss a bit about their key takeaways from the negotiations. Åsa, what are your key takeaways from the COP26 negotiations?
There has been important progress in many areas, and I'm also impressed that there is so many agreements outside the negotiations that has taken place.
And Andreas, what are your overall takeaways from COP26?
I think it was a positive meeting. We saw a lot of progress. The Paris rulebook is finished now, which is good because then we have clarity and transparency in how to work with climate action. We are keeping the 1.5 degree target alive, barely, but still, which also gives hope into the climate work that needs to be done. We're coming from an ambition gap towards the implementation gap, and the focus now will be on implementation, roadmaps, strategies, all across sectors, all across the world.
And also, if you look at an industry perspective, what would you say are the most important agreements that came out of the negotiations?
It actually shows that no matter geography, size of companies, there is support for the Paris Agreement 2015 and also support for reaching the goal of 1.5 degrees. And it's really so that all companies really have this on their agenda right now.
And Andreas, you were part of the business and industry groups at the negotiations. From your perspective, what would you say are the most important agreements?
I would say that there's a clear signal to decarbonize and that there will be increasingly risk intensive to stay in a fossil world. There is an implementation gap now, and we need to very quickly implement and deploy clean tech solutions all over across our industries in order to make this happen.
And would you say, is it enough to keep the 1.5 degrees Celsius goal alive?
Well, it is alive, but it's barely alive. So we need still to ramp up ambitions. And the Glasgow summit was good in the sense that it said that we need to come back every year with increased ambitions. In the Paris Agreement, it was every 5 years. So there's a ramped up ambition there.
And also then, if you would look at what we at Sweco could do, and what the industry as a whole could do, what kind of actions do we need to take now?
First of all, we need to start implementing and start to deploy solutions. And at Sweco, our main impact is through our projects, with our knowledge and the services that we provide, working together with our clients, no matter where they are located or where our projects are. So that is, I would say, the most important thing.
And Andreas, could you tell us a little bit more about, from the agreements, what impact would that have on different industry segments?
I think that this is the time to look into new finance streams because we see that the money is shifting, and that is of great importance for all our industries. I see that energy and industry will drive this decarbonization going on, but buildings and transport are also important because they need to avert lock-in effects on creating systems now that we might perhaps end up in emissions that we need to live with further on. So everyone is part of this journey, I would say.
Åsa, to summarize then, what are the most important things that we now need to focus on going forward?
First of all, we have the solutions and we have the knowledge. So it's about starting deploy the solutions. So we need to start to implement and focus on all levels, both from the public sector and the private sector. So it's all about taking actions right now.
Thank you, Åsa. Thank you, Andreas. And thank you for watching this broadcast.